This is a handmade ceramic figure made of two pieces. It's about 7.5 inches tall with the top on. The inside is unglazed, and there is a hole in the rear bottom. A yarn holder was one guess, but the rough interior makes that unlikely. What is it? The leading theory is that this is the base of a small lamp, like a nightlight, and it's missing its top piece, which would have been the head. The hole in the back is for the power cord, and a light bulb would have been inside the now missing head, causing it to glow. This rusted electronic thing was found while hiking in Idaho, about 20 miles from civilization. It has moving parts, electrical connections, and what looks like a bimetallic strip, possibly for a thermostat. What is this device? The best guess is that this is a radiosonde, which is the instrument package carried into the atmosphere by a weather balloon. It contains sensors to measure temperature, humidity, and pressure, and a radio transmitter to send that data back to the ground. After the balloon pops, the radiosonde falls back to Earth, often in remote locations like this. From a beach on the Ligurian Sea, a tall, pole-like structure was seen on the horizon. It moved from right to left over time, and then disappeared. It looked like the body of a helicopter, but was too stiff. What was this? The most logical explanation is that this was the mast of a large ship that was just over the horizon. Due to the curvature of the Earth, the hull of the ship was hidden from view, and only the tallest part, the mast, was visible. It appeared to move along the horizon as the ship traveled parallel to the shore. While digging in a garden in Sweden, this small metal object was found. It looks like a hand-forged hook with a curled spiral plate on top that has a hole in it. It seems like an antique. What could it be? While it looks like a finished object, the community believes this is actually just a piece of scrap metal, specifically a swarf, or shaving from a drilling or milling process. When you drill a hole in metal, the waste material often comes out in a long corkscrew shape just like this. It's an interesting shape, but likely just industrial waste. This round, solid metal disc has grooves and protrusions. It's 7 centimeters in diameter and appears to be made of copper, given the green verdigris on it. It was bought at a market in Paris. What was its original purpose? The leading theory is that this is some kind of gasket or machine part. The grooves in heavy, solid construction suggest it was designed to create a seal under high pressure or temperature, perhaps in a large engine or industrial pump. While it makes a cool ashtray, its original life was likely much more mechanical. This is a vase-shaped object, about 3.8 centimeters tall, with a small hole on the bottom and a horizontal cutout along the top. When scratched, it shows a gold-colored material, likely bronze. What is this tiny, ancient-looking vessel? One user suggests this could be a situla, a type of small bucket or pot used in ancient cultures for rituals. These vessels often held scented oils or waxes. They recommended getting it checked out by a local museum, as it could be a genuinely ancient and significant artifact. What an amazing potential discovery. This mysterious heavy black metal pipe with fins was found in the yard of a newly purchased property. It's solid, heavy, and has been lying there for months. What is it? The community is confident that this is a telescope pier. This is a heavy, stable post that is permanently mounted in the ground. An astronomical telescope would then be mounted on top of it. This provides a much more stable platform than a tripod, which is essential for long-exposure astrophotography. An aluminum tube has been on a knick-knack shelf for over 30 years. The tube and the 3 sharp, pin-like things inside it are all marked Vestopat, Pend, KC Mo. What is this mysterious device? This one required some serious detective work. A user was able to track down the grandson of the former owner of the Vesto TV shop in Kansas City, Missouri. While the exact purpose is still a bit of a mystery, it's almost certainly a specialized tool related to television or radio repair from the mid-20th century. What a fascinating piece of local business history. This is a weirdly shaped key with a brass cap. Its origin is unknown, but its complex design suggests it's for a very specific type of lock. What could it be used for? One user had a flash of recognition, suggesting this is a key for an early attempt at designing an unpickable lock. The strange shape with multiple interacting parts would be incredibly difficult for a traditional lockpick to manipulate. While the exact brand is a mystery, it's likely a key for a high-security lock from the past. This tool was found in a box with old metal engraving tools. It's made of wood with brass jaws and a steel roller wheel. It measures 4 by 1 and 5/8 inches. What is this specialized device? The best guess is that this is a jig for sharpening gravers. A graver is a small, sharp tool used for engraving metal. This jig would hold the graver at a precise angle, and the roller wheel would allow it to be moved smoothly across a sharpening stone to create a perfect, sharp edge. It's a crucial tool for any hand engraver. This is a narrow, tea kettle-shaped object made of copper. It has a handle that flops on hinges and what appears to be Hindi writing on its base. It was found at a flea market. What is it? The leading theory is that this is an incense burner. The shape is reminiscent of a dragon, and you would place a cone or stick of incense inside. The smoke would then curl out of the mouth or other openings, creating a dramatic effect. It's a beautiful and functional piece of decorative art. This wooden box was bought from an estate sale. It has a latch and a metal sliding gate with a knob to tighten and hold the gate in place. What is this antique box? The best guess is that this is the seed box from the top of an old horse-drawn corn planter. The box would be filled with corn seed, and the sliding metal gate would be used to regulate the flow of seeds down into the planting mechanism as the farmer drove the planter across the field. It's a great piece of agricultural history. These rusted metal things were found on the coast of Washington. They are 4 to 5 feet in length and look old. The image shows several long, thin, rusted metal bars. What could they be? This one is very difficult to identify without more details or a clearer picture. Suggestions from the community ranged from old reinforcement bar, rebar, from eroded concrete structures, to parts of an old pier, to debris from a shipwreck. Without more context, its origin remains a mystery of the sea. This pointy metal object was found on the beach in Nome, Alaska. It looks like a mini harpoon with a welded wing on the side and a loop on one end. Local museums couldn't identify it. What is it? Despite its exotic appearance, the community believes this is a skewer for making shish kebabs. The long point is for the food, and the loop is the handle. The flat wing is a common feature on metal skewers. It prevents the food from spinning around when you try to turn the skewer on the grill. A wooden triangle is attached to a wall above a sink. It has slots or ridges on the side. The previous owner was a cabinet maker. What is this for? This is a variant of a French cleat. A French cleat is a method of securing a cabinet, shelf, or other object to a wall. A corresponding angled cleat on the back of the object would interlock with this one on the wall, creating a very strong and stable connection. The cabinet maker likely used it to hang a custom-made shelf or cabinet. This brass or bronze object, about 6 to 7 inches long, was found buried on a beach in Newfoundland, Canada. It has a distinctive scoop shape. What could it be? The best guess is that this is the scoop from a water intake scupper on a boat. These scoops are mounted on the hull below the waterline. As the boat moves forward, the scoop forces water into an intake pipe, which is then used to cool the engine. It's a vital piece of marine hardware. This plastic item with an arrow on it was found in a Mitsubishi van in Spain. It has the inscription, "Besides Pat Penned." It's about 3.5 by 1 centimeter with a slot on the bottom. What is it? This is a clip used to secure a car's floor mats to the floor. The clip attaches to the floor of the car, and a corresponding hole in the floor mat fits over it, preventing the mat from sliding around and interfering with the pedals. It's a small but important safety feature. Small gray boxes with wires are attached to a traffic-style pole on the side of a road. A gray tube on top looks like an antenna. What is this setup? An expert identified the gray tube on top as a LoRa antenna. LoRa is a long-range, low-power wireless communication technology. The box could be a mesh-tastic device, which is a type of off-grid, decentralized communication network. It could be a community-run repeater or a sensor gathering weather and air quality data. While metal detecting, a string with at least 6 metal rings tied into it was found. The rings are all different sizes. What is this object? This is an old fish stringer. When you catch a fish that you want to keep, you would thread the string through its gills and mouth, and the ring would prevent it from slipping off. You can then keep the fish alive in the water by tying the other end of the string to your boat or the shore. This is a metal and plastic device, 3 inches long. It has a removable plastic cap that reveals a pivoting metal dog pinned to a slotted metal shaft. There is also a cross hole at the other end. What is this mechanism? While it looks complex, the community's best guess is that this is simply a fancy bottle opener. The pivoting metal dog would be the part that catches the edge of the bottle cap, and the handle would provide the leverage to pry it off. The other features might be for other functions, or they could just be stylistic. This heavy metal piece was found hidden in the overgrowth at a farm. It has 2 arms that look like they would hook up to something. It doesn't seem to be extremely old. What is it? The best guess is that this is some kind of logging sled or skidding arch. The 2 arms would hook up to a tractor's 3-point hitch. The front end of a large log would be chained to the sled, lifting it off the ground to make it easier to drag, or skid, out of the woods. This wood and metal thing was found in a barn. It's about 1 foot by 1.5 feet, with a spigot and a hole with a wooden stopper. A pipe is attached to it. What is its purpose? The best guess is that this is a small, homemade sap evaporator for making maple syrup. You would pour maple sap into the pan and build a fire underneath. As the water boils off, the sap thickens into syrup. The spigot would be used to drain the finished product. The previous owners of a house left this weird stick behind. It's about 1.2 meters long, completely metal and hollow, and the top and bottom can be unscrewed. It looks like a wire could be put inside. What is it? This is very likely a mattress support slat from a metal bed frame. These slats run across the width of the frame to support the box spring or mattress. The ends would slot into the side rails of the bed. The ability to unscrew the ends might be for assembly or to adjust the length slightly. This is a hard plastic bullet-shaped object with non-ferrous metal on each end. There is a hole going through the bullet-shaped end. It was found in a house with a dog. What is it? The dog in the picture is the biggest clue. This is almost certainly the squeaker from inside a dog toy. The dog has likely chewed the toy to pieces and extracted the squeaker, which is a common goal for many determined canines. This metal tool was found in the Delaware River in Philadelphia. It looks like a small axe head or a digging tool, but its shape is very specific. What is it used for? The community identified this as a specialized tool used by linemen for removing the insulation from thick electrical wires. The hooked blade and heavy construction would allow a worker to safely and efficiently strip the tough outer covering from high-voltage cables before making a connection. Are there any electricians or linemen watching who have used one of these? This wooden, gray-painted object was found on the side of the road. It looks like some kind of holder or rack. The owner thought it might be for bedding. Any other ideas? This is a magazine rack, a very common piece of furniture from the 1970s. It would typically sit on the floor next to a couch or armchair, providing a convenient place to store magazines and newspapers. It's a classic piece of retro home decor. This is a wooden stand, about 3.5 feet tall, found in a formerly agricultural field. It has 2 metal slats with hemispherical cutouts. A pronghorn skull was found nearby. What does this stand for? The most plausible explanation is that this is a homemade target stand for a hunter to practice. A piece of cardboard or paper with a target on it would be slipped between the metal slats. The nearby pronghorn skulls suggest that this was indeed an area used for hunting. This heavy metal frame, about 4 feet tall, is bolted to the wall studs in the corner of a barn loft that was once used as a wood shop. It doesn't look like it was for shelves. What was its purpose? The most straightforward theory is that this is a rack for holding long-handled tools like brooms, rakes, shovels, and poles. The tools would be stood upright in the corner, and the frame would keep them organized and prevent them from falling over. It's a simple, durable, and practical storage solution for a workshop. This plastic piece is found just below the collar on a sailor or waterproof jacket. It's about 12 by 4 centimeters and doesn't seem very reflective on the left side. What is its purpose? According to the manufacturer's website, this is indeed a reflective patch. It's designed to be highly visible when a searchlight is shown on it, which is a crucial safety feature for anyone who might fall overboard at night. Even if it doesn't look very reflective in normal light, it's made of a special material that shines brightly when illuminated. This heavy, possibly iron ball was picked up at an auction. It's about 4.5 inches tall and solid. The first thought was a cannonball, but it seems a bit small. What is it? Given its size, this is likely canister shot or grape shot. These are smaller iron balls that were packed into a cannon, essentially turning it into a giant shotgun. This was a devastating anti-personnel weapon used in naval and land battles. If this is authentic, it's a genuine piece of military history. This is a tall, thin storage cabinet or drawer with 4 compartments. It was found in a laundry room. Its shape is very specific, but its purpose is unclear. What was it designed to hold? The community's best guess is that this is designed for storing rolls of gift wrap. The long, narrow compartments would be the perfect size for standard wrapping paper rolls, keeping them organized and preventing them from getting crushed or wrinkled. It's a clever, purpose-built piece of storage furniture. This translucent object, about 15 to 20 millimeters long, was found on a bathroom floor. It can be bent, but returns to its original shape. What is this strange little worm-like thing? This is almost certainly a piece of old silicone caulk. When you remove old caulk from around a bathtub or sink, it often comes off in long, rubbery strips just like this. A small piece was likely missed during a recent renovation or repair. This is a standard bungee cord, but one of the hooks has a strange, hook-shaped slot on its side. Its purpose is baffling. What is this feature for? The community figured this one out. It's a hook for an adjustable length bungee cord. You can pull the cord through the hook to make it shorter and then bend the cord back into the slot to lock it in place at the desired length. It's a clever design that makes the bungee cord much more versatile. This is an oddly shaped bag, about 20 inches long and 13 inches wide. It has a pocket on one side and no tags, suggesting it might be homemade. What is its specific purpose? The best guess is that this is a cover or warmer for a cast iron skillet. The round part would fit over the skillet to keep the food warm, and the long handle part would cover the skillet's handle. The pocket could be for holding a serving utensil. It's a clever, custom-made kitchen accessory. 4 of these black plastic slotted rods, each about 14 inches long, were found in a closet. They look like they could be pushed into the ground, but they don't seem sturdy enough. The slotted part looks like it could hold a rod. What are they? These are fishing pole holders, specifically for ice fishing. You would drill a hole in the ice, and this holder would be placed nearby to hold the fishing rod, keeping it off the ice and at the correct angle. The lightweight plastic is perfectly fine for this purpose. This iron tool, which looks similar to a spinning wheel, has an Indian peace symbol on it. It seems to be missing some parts. Can anyone identify it? This is an Indian spinning wheel, specifically known as a charkha. It is famously associated with Mahatma Gandhi, who used it as a symbol of self-sufficiency. This one is missing the drive band and the spindle, but it is unmistakably a charkha. What a historically significant find. This is a flexible but dense rubber gasket, about 1 3 to 4 inches in outer diameter. It's grooved on one side and flat on the other. It was found in a house. What is it from? This is a standard rubber washer, most likely from a garden hose or the supply hoses for a washing machine. The flat side seals against the fitting, and the grooved side helps hold it in place inside the screw-on connector. It's a very common household part that often falls out when you disconnect a hose. This small black plastic clip, or bracket, has the number 30 on one side. It was found among some Legos, but is definitely not a Lego piece. What could it be from? The leading theory is that this is a part from a window slider mechanism. specifically for a casement or awning window that cranks open. This small plastic piece would slide in a channel on the window frame or the operating arm, guiding the window as it opens and closes. This is a small screw, about 19 millimeters long, driven by a 2 millimeter hex key. The strange part is that the hex key fits into the threaded end of the screw. What is this unusual fastener? This is a type of set screw, also known as a grub screw, with a long dog point. A set screw is used to secure an object within or against another object, like holding a pulley onto a shaft. The long, unthreaded dog point would fit into a hole or groove to lock the two parts together. This 1 by 1 inch plastic tab or cover appeared in the laundry. The owner is not sure what it popped out of. It looks like a blank cover for some kind of small opening. Any ideas? The best guess is that this is a cover for an unused wall outlet, specifically for an internet or cable TV coaxial connection. In many apartments and homes, these small plastic plugs are inserted into the wall plates to keep dust out when the connection is not in use. A house in a neighborhood is covered in these spray-painted dots. It has been this way for at least a year. Is there some purpose to this, or is it just unfinished work? This is very likely a house in the middle of being prepped for painting. The dots are spots of primer that have been applied over nail heads that were filled and sanded. You prime these spots to ensure that the final coat of paint adheres properly and doesn't flash, which is when a spot looks different from the rest of the surface. The owner probably just hasn't gotten around to the final paint job yet. This is a white plastic box with a wire attached to it, and it's apart from a refrigerator. A technician said it needs to be replaced, but the owner wants to know what it actually is. Any ideas? This is most likely a junction box cover. Underneath this plastic cover, the main electrical wires for the refrigerator are connected. The cover and the warning label are there for safety, as it protects the high-voltage AC connections from being touched accidentally. This yellow plastic thing, about 5 or 6 centimeters long, was found in a living room. The larger flat piece seems like it could be for storing earbuds, but the purpose of the circular part is unclear. What is this gadget? The community agrees that the flat part is for wrapping and storing wired earbuds to keep them from tangling. The circular part is likely a stand for a smartphone. You would wrap your earbuds around the flat piece and then use the circular part to prop up your phone for watching videos. It's a simple, multi-function accessory. This red plastic piece is approximately 3.5 centimeters by 1 centimeter and was found down the side of a couch. It looks like some kind of clip or lock. What did it come from? An automotive technician would recognize this. It's a slide lock for an electrical connector common in cars. These red clips act as a secondary lock to ensure that important electrical connections, like those for airbags or engine sensors, don't vibrate loose. It probably came off during a repair or was dropped by a mechanic. This is a 3.5 millimeter jack with another smaller post next to it. It's made of cast metal and was found during a house move. It doesn't seem to have any electronics inside. What is it for? This is a shut-up plug. You plug it into the headphone jack on a TV or the front audio output on a computer. This tricks the device into thinking headphones are plugged in, which mutes the internal speakers. It's a simple way to permanently silence a device's speakers if you are using an external audio system. Thin, rusted metal wires keep appearing in a yard. They are always the same shape, pretty rigid and magnetic. The house is a relatively new build. Where are they coming from? This is a bristle from a wire BBQ cleaning brush. This is actually a well-known hazard. These bristles can fall out of the brush, stick to the grill grates, and end up in food, which can be very dangerous if swallowed. The homeowner should probably throw that brush away and get a safer alternative. This 3-legged, 8-foot-tall rusty structure stands on concrete bases along a walking path. The city has an industrial heritage. What was this tower for? The leading theory is that this is the base of a small antenna, or transmission tower. There should be 3 corresponding anchor points in the ground, spaced evenly around the base, where guy wires would have been attached to support the rest of the tower. It was likely used for radio or some other form of communication. This wooden box has wooden slats and wall hangers on the back. It was found at a thrift store. The front has a small opening at the top. What is it for? This appears to be a wall-mounted box for collecting coins, similar to a donation box you might see in a public place. You would drop coins through the slot at the top, and they would be collected inside. The slats might be a decorative feature or a way to see how full the box is. This is a wood and metal grabbing tool with teeth and a cross brace. It was found on a rural farm property in Australia. It looks like some kind of heavy-duty clamp. What was it used for? The leading theory, though grim, is that this is a clamp used for dehorning cattle or sheep. The device would be used to firmly clamp the animal's horn at the base, providing a stable guide for a saw to remove the horn. It's a piece of old and rather brutal veterinary equipment. Two small wooden pegs with an orange string wrapped around them are attached to the ceiling joists in a basement. The string hangs down from the floorboards above. What is this simple contraption for? This is likely a simple homemade holder for a pair of skis. You would stand the skis up on the floor, and the hanging string loop would go around the top of the skis, holding them upright and against the joist so they don't fall over. It's a clever and space-saving storage solution. This iron object, about 15 inches long, was found near a railroad. It has two hooks that seem designed to grab onto something. What is this tool? One user recognized this as being very similar to a tool used for carrying old car batteries. The hooks would grab onto the terminal posts of the battery, allowing you to lift and carry the heavy and acidic battery with one hand. While this one is missing a handle, its function seems clear. Are there any old-school mechanics who can confirm this? This black, telescope-looking object is mounted on a residential building. It seems to be on a gimbal, allowing it to move, and has two lights on top of it. What is this device? Based on a Google search, this is a Bosch MIC series PTZ camera. PTZ stands for Pan, Tilt, Zoom. The lights on top are infrared illuminators, which allow the camera to see clearly in complete darkness. This is a high-end, ruggedized security camera, often used for commercial or high-security surveillance. This is an electric motor thing that belonged to someone who did watch repair, jewelry, and boat sailing. When plugged in, it turns a shaft that moves a cam, making another part pivot. What is it for? Given the heavy corrosion on the metal plate, the community is leaning towards it being a boat part. It could be a small motor for an automatic bilge pump, a winch, or some other piece of marine equipment. The combination of electrical components and heavy corrosion strongly points to a life at sea. A pile of small, light brown nuggets of different sizes was found in a yard. The whole patch is about a foot across. It looks like tiny gravel. What could this be? This is very likely chopped corn that has been put out as bait for animals like deer or turkeys, possibly by hunters. It's a common practice to attract wildlife to a specific area. The homeowner might want to be aware that there could be hunting activity nearby. A wooden panel, probably 36 by 14 inches, washed up on a beach. It has a series of numbers stenciled on it. What could it have come from? Without knowing the location or what the numbers are, it's impossible to be certain. However, the community suggests it could be a piece of a wooden boat, a section of a dock or pier, or even part of a shipping crate that fell overboard. The numbers could be a hull number, a draft marking, or an identification number. The ocean holds many secrets. What was the weirdest object for you? Let me know in the comments and share this to test your friends. If you love uncovering these mysteries, hit like and subscribe. Your support helps us find more curious explorers like you. Stay curious.